State of Denmark is, it starts off with me actually being a Republican. So this is the latest work which actually deals with the question of republicanism within the context of the monarchy. So the work is actually a three-dimensional structure. The proposition for the republicanism is an open structure. The monarchy is a closed structure and is a solid structure. On the Republican side, there is a series of boards which are where public is invited to make comments about the future, in inverted commas, the future in relation to these two conditions, one of which we experience and live under, and one which is aspirational, which actually asks for what I would think of as a full democracy. The Peter Lee project was really stemmed from my work in performance, where I wanted to take the notion of performance and expand it into a specific set of conditions. My proposition to the Development Corporation was that I would not make art, because the new town was still being built and there was a strong sense of a kind of absence of history, and of course, and my view was that the history was either in the local villages surrounding the coal mines, and also in the new town, because 70% of the population actually from living in Peterlee came from the surrounding district. So my project was called History Within Living Memory. In the 70s into the 80s, I only performed for 15 years. After 1981, I began to make work in other mediums. I realized that the performance was quite a limited way of actually working. I wanted to expand and think of how I could introduce ideas in different media and so on. And that's a system that I've used quite often, to go and making new works, but from information and materials from the previous work. The missing text is actually a kind of an imaginative space for me, but has a reality, because it's the space from 2010, when there was the last election, and after the election there was no party had a majority, so they had to have a discussion with each other about, forming a government, and that took some time. This particular work, by chance, happened in that period. This was the performance that I made at the time, over 10 days. So you get a kind of a sense of unease, but a sort of almost like something is falling apart, which is one of the arguments I wanted to make, because this hiatus in terms of the election, I began to see metaphors for, the missing text is that which is not discussed. You get a sense also of the heap that's fragile in terms of anything could happen. In terms of the content of this work, I saw this heap like the elephant in the room, the elephant that's never mentioned but is there all the time. So these are the kind of, if you like, imaginings I had in a sort of political and social sense about the nature of this project in relation to the hiatus between the parties after the election.